That's a hot take.
Swinging around American flag, because that's what America's supposed to be. It's supposed to look like permanently chill.
The insurance commercial has a fat ass, but like no personality.
Yeah, I feel like sitting here and listening to this.
No, god damn it. Isaac, New Noise is not the first fucking refused album.
Rip Isaac a new one today. Do you know what I mean? Like...
Don't touch my records. Ever.
Good evening, Hot Takes homies. Welcome to Hot Takes, a vaporwave talk show, and I was supposed to cover Drink Your Tears. Well, guys, it's Drink Your Tears tonight. Welcome to the show. We'll be bringing them on very shortly. Let's throw the static up there. Anyways, welcome to Hot Takes. Thank you for tuning in tonight. We are Young Shiro and
Skeleton Lipstick.
And we're so glad that you're finally here. I see some new first-time viewers. I see some long-time viewers. And I want to thank each and every one of you individually for tuning in, especially because we're so excited about our conversation tonight with Vaporwave meets Synth Pop Auteur, Drink Your Tears. Just want to start the night off by asking everybody kindly, as I change the music to something a little more Vaporwave influenced, to keep us in the loop if audio levels are too high or too low, if I'm too quiet, if the good doctor is too loud, if Drink Your Tears, whatever, music, please keep us in the know in chat. And if you like Hot Takes, tweet about us, share it to Facebook, invite a friend, and do not be shy in the chat. If you have questions for Drink Your Tears, let them rip. Nothing is off the table within reason, of course, right? We punch up only on Hot Takes. Last thing before I let the doctor introduce. Actually, no, I'm going to introduce because I'm going to do the Rex tonight, right? I got the Rex. You got the take. All right, cool. So just want to remind everybody, Hot Takes is totally DIY and non-profit. But if you like Hot Takes, or you like me, or you like Chris, feel free to follow the link in chat to donate. It is completely optional, but it means a lot. And it goes straight to a fund that is used to buy a pop filter for me, to commission people to make a new ad instead of the wonderful ad that DS Dude made, but that is getting a little old. Jump in. Every little dollar matters, and we appreciate it from the bottom of our hearts. So we're going to start the night out with some recommendations, courtesy of moi. And tonight's recommendations are sponsored by the letter B from the alphabet, the letter B. Apparently, I like to crate dig alphabetically, so tonight, every artist that I'm going to recommend starts with the letter B.
Oh,
what a strange
how
coincidence. Fun. So the first album I'm going to recommend is by a very little, at least I think little-known, vaporwave artist called Body End Tag. It's like HTML, right? You got the caret, body, / caret. Body End Tag. Out of Phoenix, Arizona.
Man.
Body End Tag, I actually have to thank my little brother for. And if you like classic vapor that's just a little punchier sounding, you got to check out Body End Tag, the album that... Well, Jesus, Lux, thank you. I was actually going to recommend Liquid State Drive, but Information Superhighway looks good as well. Let me go ahead and drop the link in for my recommendation, but if you like it, check out Lux's recommendation. They're known to have quite good taste, and I can thank Lux directly for a lot of recommendations, but if you want to hear some classic vapor that's a little punchier sounding, and check out the album artwork for Liquid State Drive. Looks a little 80s Outrun-esque, but very like early 2010s Tumblr wave. Good stuff. Second recommendation is by another vaporwave artist. Again, sponsored by the letter B. I want to recommend, out of their vast back catalog, an album by Bodyline that's a few years old.
Ooh, which album?
Pocket Feelings. Pocket Feelings came out, I don't know, maybe about 5 years ago, and Bodyline, I gotta say, guys, is one of my personal favorites of the, I would say, late-night lo-fi persuasion. I don't know if they respond particularly to that genre tag or if they even care, but I really like just dreamy, jazzy, loungy, late-night sounding vaporwave. The term was actually coined by Lux herself. Thank you very much. If you like that kind of vaporwave, you got to check out Pocket Feelings by Bodyline. Lots of lesser-known samples, lots of very gentle, dreamy, romantic vibes. And then I'm going to end the night, before we get our hot take from Dr. Skeleton Lipstick, with a vaporwave adjacent album. Not sure how you guys feel about chillwave, especially OG chillwave acts, but many people feel like vaporwave was birthed a little bit from the chillwave explosion, or at least they had some similarities. Their love.
I think it empowered people.
I think so as well.
It empowered people to do things.
Thoroughly agree. And there's an OG artist by the name of Brother Tiger. It's been around very long time. Right?
Okay.
John Jagos, been around since the beginning. You know, he never really made it into the upper echelon of Neon Indian, Toro y Moi, you know, the other one whose name is escaping me at the moment. Oh, Washed Out, sorry. But Brother Tiger was very good at what they did. And after their first, handful of albums, I want to say they went quiet for a little while. And then they released an album, and this album is straight B-sides. Okay? But it's like instrumental. I'm going to drop the link in chat. It's called Fundamentals Volume 1, Roman numeral 1. And it is like instrumental sections that are to be used in between songs during a live show. But almost the whole album flows together almost as one continuous track. And it is insanely beautiful. I hate to use the word epic, right? Even as us millennials love the word epic. But Fundamentals Volume 1 by Brother Tiger, though there's no singing on it, is one of the most recent albums that I would say is just a solid 10 out of 10 front to back. No skippable tracks. And so if you like chillwave or vapor adjacent music, look, Ixchel is in chat. Everyone say hi to Ixchel. They co-sign.
Nice.
They co-sign, and they have good taste. So check out Fundamentals Volume 1, courtesy of Chillwave OG Brother Tiger. Thank you for listening. I'm going to turn my platform over to Skeleton Lipstick for tonight's hot take.
Sure. My hot take tonight has to do with vaporwave or vaporwave adjacent artists and the concept of playing live. And the hot take for me is you don't have to do it. You don't have to play live. Just because other people play live and like to do live events doesn't mean that you should feel pressure to have to do that as well. This is birthed as an online scene, and so being a strictly online artist is not a problem and should be encouraged if that's what your I don't know what your impetus to be is. You know what I mean? I think that people see a lot of these people engaging in live events, like myself and many others, and maybe they think that is creating some kind of pressure that everybody has to do that everybody has to have some sort of public IRL persona or presence, and that's not necessary. And vaporwave requires anonymous artists and requires people who are just online presences without much of a knowledge of who they are or what they are, and I think that's important. And I don't think it's a necessity that everybody plays live. You know what I mean? And many people don't, and they have perfectly very successful careers, and you don't need to do that. If it doesn't feel like it's you, then you don't need to do that. But if it does feel like it's you, then that's great. There are spaces for you to do that. You know what I mean? I think that's the fun thing about this scene, and is the landscape of it is pretty vast and allows for a lot of ways to express yourself. And if it's doing it in a live setting is what you want to do, there are opportunities for you to do that. If that is not what you want to do, that's wonderful, because basically that's kind of like the roots of the scene are that setting. In the first place. The default setting is that, exactly. So you don't have to play live. You don't have to feel pressure to do that. You don't have to feel like you're even missing out on anything because you don't play live, because it might not be what you want to do. And here's the thing: if you do play live, that's great. I play live. I love doing it. I love participating in the events and setting them up myself. But it's a lot of pressure too to figure out how to play live and how to do this. Whether you're going to be doing a DJ set or whether you're going to be doing a live set that involves playing your own music, it's a tough thing. And before you decide to do a live set, I guess think about it. Think about how you want to do it. Think about who you want to be when you do it, and think about what your personality is and the best way to do it. It's a tough thing. Some people kind of think they maybe want to jump right into live sets, and then they don't exactly know how to do it, or what equipment they need, or what the setup is going to be for it, or what the delivery is going to be for it as well. And if you want to go play live, think about it and think about who you want to be when you're up there and how you want to do this. And maybe if you don't know that yet, take a minute to think about it before you decide to start doing it. But my point, once again, my original point though is basically that there should not be a pressure for everybody to play live. You know what I mean? The default setting is online artist. You don't have to play live. But once again, if you want to, that's cool. There's spaces for it, and I don't think that we don't need to be limiting that either. And live events are hard. They're hard to promote. They're hard to prepare for. And not every one of them has a tremendous has a tremendous audience either. So just be prepared for that as well. Be prepared for if you do want to do a live show, not everything's going to be like Tronicon. Not everything's going to be like the most packed event you've ever played. You do it because you love it. Do it because you want to hang out with your friends, and because you really treasure the moments that you get to be with the people that you are artistically and socially close to, and enjoy that time that you get with them. You know what I mean? Enjoy making this music and playing it with them. You know what I mean? It's fun. Even when the events are small, it's like hanging out with your friends and everybody's playing, demonstrating their music for each other and demonstrating, their tastes for each other. And it's a good hangout. You know what I mean? So don't go in and immediately expect, if you are going to do live performances, for it to be, don't go in thinking like, okay, well, it's going to be a packed show or whatever, I don't know. This is that's not what it's like. So sometimes it is, and sometimes it's not. But the valuable thing is the chance to connect with the people that you like, and who you're friends with, and who you are artistically.
Thank you so much, Luxury.
On the same level with, on the same levels with, and because they don't happen. These things don't happen that often, and when you do it, you kind of remember it forever. So that's the benefit to doing the live stuff. But once again, you don't have to. You know what I mean? And you don't have to feel like you are any less than of an artist, because you don't. You're not. That's not the way this scene works. Anything to add?
So what I'm hearing is, we love you whether you perform or not. If you want to stay true to the scene's roots, as it were, anonymity or staying outside of the live performance sphere is perfectly valid and perfectly fine. You won't be loved any less. But if I can be a little biased, it is so much fun, and it'll be a little scary and stressful. And, I'm no audio engineer. I show up for sound check. I don't know what the shit I'm doing. I just listen to the sound guy and try to be there early and help unload and then help tear down. But my God, it'll wear you out if you're our age, but it is so fun and so validating. And after 5 minutes, you're not scared anymore, I promise. And it makes memories. And this is Vaporwave, baby. It's a DIY scene. People have done as little as press the play button and dance around, or hammer out a beat on one of those little things that just you beat on during their set with the music playing in the background.
The samplers.
Nobody cares. Everybody loves it. They go gaga because we talked about this before the show went live. They just want to hear the music that they love in a loud space with people that they love, and they want to get sweaty and jump up and down and hug each other.
Yeah,
and
once again,
you're going to miss out if you don't do it.
If you're playing live, you're not a rock band. You're not going to get up there and start playing like a rock band. The work was done when you made the music. When you produced it and controlled all those frequencies and developed those soundscapes, or put on the effects that you want to put on, and took the time to lovingly craft, your art. And that's the work that you did.
Absolutely.
You're not a rock band. you know, where they just, you know, where you play guitar and, you know, the engineer records it and then somebody mixes it. No. You're a producer. You're in charge of all that shit. You have all that responsibility when you're making the fucking music. You know what I mean? You did the work. You did way more work than the guy who strummed out some stuff on the guitar. You did the work. When you're up there and you're playing your music and you're doing it as a DJ or you're doing it with samplers, maybe you have, you know, you can only maybe have like one synth up there if it's just you, if you want to do some extra stuff. The rest of it, you're gonna have your sampler or you're gonna have your DJ decks or you're gonna have your microphone if you sing. And you know what? You'll bring your visuals if you have them. You don't need them either. You're going to bring yourself and you're going to express your charisma and you're going to play the music that you lovingly crafted and constructed, you know, in that room by yourself, hunched over the computer for hours and hours and hours, and you will now play it through large speakers. You know, you will transmit your signal through a bigger vector, as it were. You know what I mean?
Well said.
And that's the thing about the electronic artist stuff in general, right? You know, so like I don't want any more comparisons to rock and roll music or blah blah fucking blah. This isn't indie rock. This isn't rock and roll. This is a whole different way of expressing this sort of thing. All right, and you know what I mean? You did the work when you were hunched over the computer doing everything that like the guitarist never has to do. You know what I mean? And
Hey,
now
man,
you are
speaking of,
transmitting
doing the
it
work,
in a different vector.
If I don't bring Drink Your Tears on pretty soon, we might have a riot in the chat.
Oh, please do.
Y'all
Yes.
have seen our very skilled and lovely guest already due to my faux pas. But Janelle, go ahead and unmute yourself. Welcome to the show.
What's up?
Let me take that static down. Oh,
What's up,
that's
Janelle?
the still
Thank you
image.
for being here.
Hey, Drink Your Tears, everybody.
What up,
So,
what up?
what do you think about what we've discussed thus far? What are your thoughts?
Oh my god, I do agree 100% with like a lot of the things you guys are talking about performing live and stuff, and honestly, like it actually like opens my eyes a little bit for like reassurance a little bit, because I definitely like performing live is like one of my dreams, honestly. I've performed live before.
There you go.
Yeah, I've performed live before, but it's been like a way different genre. It was like
What was it?
Or was it? Yeah.
It was like I wouldn't say hardcore, but like the death metal core, sort of like
What?
Yeah.
What?
Oh, this is going to be a great episode.
Excuse me?
like Asking Alexandria style, like
Oh, how
attack
fun.
stuff like that.
Attack like crabcore?
What?
Yeah.
Amazing. That's
That's
so
badass.
fun. Wait, so you were the singer for like a crabcore band prior to this at one point? Is that what's
What a
happening? Is that what
genre
you're
name.
saying?
I was the synth player, so
You were the synth player for it? Unbelievable.
That's
Yeah.
fucking cool
Wow.
as shit.
Well, I can't wait to get into your musical journey
Yeah,
later.
bro, me too.
yeah.
Unmute these sound effects so I can use them tonight.
Yeah, that was like my first time around that like 2011, 10 era.
That's the era. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
so yeah, that I was like playing with my band and stuff
How
and
fun.
play lots of shows locally and stuff like that. But like now
Is this available? Am I able to listen to this?
Yeah, or is it for the Drink Your Tears Patreon?
it's old stuff, man. It's the band name was Oceans of Sienna.
Okay.
That's a post-hardcore band name if I've ever heard one.
Definitely post-hardcore, yeah.
Or like
And-
post-metal, Pelican-esque, Jesu shit, ISIS. Wave.
So anyway, yeah, ISIS wave. Oh, ISIS, well, that'd be amazing. I love ISIS. But anyway, so you were doing, so you performed, but you have performed live before, but not this. It was this is you. This is your band. This is your full direction for your music with this now. This is on you when you play it now, right?
Yeah, and I've never done anything like of my own stuff like live or anything, and I'm always like, as an artist, I feel like most artists get in their head and they're very like I don't know, it just depends on the person, really. Like, you could be very confident with your music and be like, yo, let's fucking play a show. I'm gonna play a show every other week, whatever. for me, it's like I need it to be perfect, and like
Yep.
I don't know what it is, but
You got the
it's never-
perfectionism.
yeah, it's never gonna be perfect. Like even the album that I released, I'm like, man, that's not fucking perfect at all. There's like shit in there that I'm like, oh man. But like I love it. I love what I do, and
That's good.
I just really want to make people dance and have fun, and because I love blasting my music at home and dancing around.
Hell yeah.
So
That's phenomenal.
what I, put out there for other people to have fun listening to my stuff. So
Ixchel
So
says
that's-
their favorite Drink Your Tears song is "Take Me Home."
It's a good one. So that's really that.
I honestly hate that fucking song.
You
Wow.
hate that song? Wow. Spoken like a true artist. Like anytime I'm playing a DJ set or something, and I actually I put one of my dancey tracks on, all I can hear are the flaws. So I don't think you're alone in that. I think that most of us are like that,
Yeah, 100%.
And the imposter syndrome too.
Right. I just overthink a lot with like my stuff, and I'm like, you guys probably know as well, like I'll be in the middle of a song and I find a synth sound or something, or a drum, sound, and I'm like, oh, that would be good in a different song. And then I track hop, and it's just like everything gets lost, and I'm just like, okay, let's focus here, and let's actually focus on making an album and not like a fucking 50 song album.
Right. Well, it's like certain sounds, like that's the thing, is like you hear a sound, right, and it's like, oh, that's such a good sound. All right, I want to use it for something, and like you're in the middle of doing something else, but then you find that sound, and you're like, but it's not right for this one. I guess I'll just start a new song based around the fact that I want to use this snare.
Right.
That's funny. I don't produce, so like that's interesting, but it makes a lot of sense. If you hear something you like, you would set it aside and be like, this is getting used, not for this, but it's getting used at some point.
It like totally derails the thing that you were doing. You're like, well, I gotta do something with this sound right now, and then I'll get back to this, and then that happens like with 12 more times in a row.
Yeah.
So you're saying you have a lot of B-sides and like tracks that are on the cutting floor that may see the light of day at some point?
Yeah, I mean, I try to rework a lot of stuff.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I've counted the amount of like songs I've started and not finished, and I think I have around like 120.
Whoa!
Wow.
Really? You just
sitting on a gold mine.
Whoa! You just started kind of writing music as Drink Your Tears. You have that much kind of like in the unfinished project section.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's prolific.
You're never
man.
gonna run out of material. That's great.
Wow, you got a lot of songwriting energy in you, my friend. Wow. Okay.
So
Dr.
chat,
Sorry.
run up the questions for Drink Your Tears, and Chris, of course, you are
I gotta
more
take a
than
step
welcome
back.
to do those autobiographical questions.
I gotta go back
Let's
a
run
little
those
bit for a minute
questions.
here. First of all, let's just get into like what got you into making music. Do you have a background in playing music, in learning music? Did you learn an instrument first? What got you into just making music? The idea that you wanted to make music.
So, I mean, I hate to sound like kind of cliche, but my parents definitely brought me into music a lot.
Oh, good.
Yeah, my dad is a awesome drummer, and he's a great keyboard player as well.
Oh,
I felt like I remembered your father being a musician.
Yeah, he's awesome, and he showed me so much music, and it's just so crazy. But I was taking piano lessons at the age of 5. I was 13. And throughout that whole time, I couldn't read like sheet music or anything. It just didn't make sense to me.
Right.
But, I'd have the piano teacher sitting next to me with his piano, and I'd be at mine, and he'd be like, okay, read the music. And it's like, man, I already know what you're playing, like by ear. So it's like, I
holy
just
shit!
out and yeah, I mean, not that great at like playing by ear, but if you give me like half hour, I can try to figure it out.
That's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, and then I ended up quitting until I was around like the age of 13 or whatever with the piano lessons, and my dad makes his own music, which is fucking nuts, because what actually like got me into vaporwave is that back in like the early 2000s or whatever, the music that my dad was making on fucking like floppy disks and his keyboard, a lot of vaporwave stuff reminds me of what he makes.
Ooh,
Very interesting.
I love that.
Yeah, it's super like nostalgic for me. Like, I didn't even know a lot of like the 80s bands and stuff around the early 2000s because I was born in 94, so I was like younger.
Yeah.
But a lot of the stuff that he makes, even till this day, reminds me of vaporwave, and I love that. So that's kind of what got
amazing.
me.
That is cool as shit.
That's very interesting that the nostalgia for you comes from like directly from your family.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep, for sure. Yep.
What
and
is
my mom was more into like well, my dad was very like experimental, doing whatever the fuck he wanted, really.
Gotcha.
Nice.
My mom was very into like the 90s, early 2000s rap, grunge, stuff like that.
Wow.
So like I'm very I know a lot of stuff.
You got some cool like Gen X parents.
You've been plugged right into the zeitgeist since day one.
Right, yeah. But a lot of my dad's stuff was very 80s and 90s, like dance, experimental, slow listening sort of stuff, and a lot of vaporwave music reminds me of that, and it's just like, holy shit, my dad's been making this genre for like
iClick says, tell your dad to drop links.
That's fascinating that you just sort of stumble upon like a whole genre of music that you're like, oh my God, this is what my dad kind of makes. This is like a whole world, a whole world of it out there, apparently, of people doing something experimental and easy listening-ish.
The funniest fucking part of it all is that back in like 2014, 15, you know, the SoundCloud days when it was like, oh, this is the best time ever on SoundCloud. Well, I was like just one of those people that was scrolling through me. I actually was like into dubstep and like
wild
around that era. But then I was like searching on SoundCloud and clicking on people that were commenting on songs and stuff. And I was like, okay, I can get into this. Well, I came across George Clanton and all that. And I was
Shout
like,
out
oh,
George
I love
Clanton.
Yeah, shout out George Clanton for sure. And I was like, man, this is the music that I've been wanting to make. Like,
That's amazing.
Yeah,
was
I
it
like,
Mirror Kisses or Esprit Fantasy or George?
Well, it was Esprit first, and I didn't, make the connection as a first-time listener that it was George and Esprit. So I was like, okay, George is fucking lit. Esprit, I found like Vector Graphics.
Shout out.
I don't know.
Oh wow, we found Vector Graphics through that. That's it's very interesting to hear George as a gateway for the vapor, like the deeper vaporwave scene. That's very it's very encouraging to hear.
Yeah, and then I showed my dad him and like a lot of people on the 100% label and stuff, and it was just like, oh man, I showed him a lot of the stuff, and then one day he came across me and he was like, Janelle, let me show you this artist. And it was Equip. And I was like, yeah, I was like, Dad. I was like, the tattoo on my neck, the 100% electronica.
Oh, let's see it.
Tattoo on my neck.
Oh, you're the one with that tattoo.
Nice.
I remember.
Check it out.
Oh, that's funny.
No,
oh my.
Seen Equip live, and he was like, "What do you mean?" And I'm like,
"Wait, so
no.
Dad stumbled upon Kevin's music?"
Yes, and
that's fucking great.
That's so funny. Keep going. This is a great story.
Explain it to him and everything, and he was like, it wasn't clicking, but eventually he was like, "Holy shit, that's nuts!" But yeah, that's basically
that's adorable.
Yeah.
This is, yeah, and Lux is saying in the chat right now, like, this is like such a wholesome vaporwave experience that you've described. Wow, this is amazing. And that's very interesting to me that yeah, that I suppose, that George is providing, a gateway for people who are interested in this music to go further. People have to start somewhere, and it's a good place to start, and it leads you to all these other things. And now here you are, pretty deeply embedded in this little world now. You know what I mean? And now you all these different artists and have involved yourself in the scene and this like ground level, and releasing your own music too, obviously in this scene. And it's kind of interesting that that's where it began for you, where you started off, I think, as a lot of people probably your age, everyone probably starts with like a lot of dubstep these days and, the festival circuit EDM music. And then you get on the SoundCloud, you start looking for other things. You stumble across one of the bigger artists from this world, like George and his label. And then from there, you figure out that, it goes even deeper than just this. You know what I mean? It goes way deeper than just this. It's a whole network of scenes, and I can participate too. I can be involved too. And and like you've had all these ideas brewing in your mind, since learning instruments at a young age and being exposed to the things that your mom and dad liked. And wow, what an interesting. It's interesting to hear this. You know what I mean?
If I may jump in, we have a question from Tua in chat.
Interesting.
Wanting to know what your go-to drums or synths are.
Ooh, honestly, when I'm recording or anything like that, I'm just kind of running through the sounds, and shoot me for it. I'm not even paying attention to like what the names are or anything. I'm just like,
wild.
Hell
No,
yeah.
that's fine. That's good. You're doing it through feel.
Yeah. So I can't really. Well, I guess for drums it would be oh God, what was it? The main thing, the drums that everyone was using in the 80s. I forget what it's called, but I always type it in and it comes up and I'm like, all right, I'm using that.
You're talking about like the toms that have like the tone?
A Lindrum or a 707?
Lindrum, yep.
Thank you.
Yeah.
There's a name for it.
Yep, the Lindrum, yeah.
The Lindrum, yeah, that's a great go-to. Gated reverb, yeah, exactly. That's Phil Collins style. Gated reverb. So okay, now you kind of like, you start with dubstep, you go on SoundCloud because you're looking for something different. You stumble across George's music, you stumble across the 100p guys, and then you decide to dive even further and find out about all these other artists, and then is that what empowers you to say, hey, I think I'd like to make something too and contribute to this world? I think there's an audience here that's similar to me. And is that when you decide that you want to start making music?
It was actually like opposite. Like, so before George, it was like before George, it was like, okay, here's all this like vaporwave style music, and I was like, man, this is some shit that I've always been wanting to like create myself, but I didn't think that people would actually want to hear it like around that age. Everyone was listening to like the radio hits and shit like that. So and then I found George after listening to all these different artists.
I see. Go on.
Yeah, so but yeah, George is the one that definitely, because I feel like a lot of vaporwave is very non-vocal, and that is awesome to me. I love instrumentals. I love all that stuff. Like I said, my dad was making instrumentals and stuff like that, so I grew up around that. And but once he brought in like the vocals and stuff to everything and made it more of like a structured like pop hit, I was like, okay, well, I can fucking do that. Like, yeah,
you're a singer. You wanted to sing.
Yeah. I guess, I am a singer, and like, I don't really say that about myself, but yeah, all of my music, most of it is singing. But I was just like, holy shit, yeah, this dude is really inspiring me to like want to do stuff on my own and shit like that. So yeah, he definitely pushed me to want to do my own shit. So
that's great.
Shout out.
That's wonderful. So it sort of validated the idea for you that, hey, I can take it in this direction as well.
Right. And like another thing is too, when I was younger, like a preteen or whatever, I was playing like video games are a big influence for my music, and movies are a big influence for my music. And Vice City, I know everyone references that, but
Hey,
man, Vice City
aesthetic as
had
hell.
tracks, man.
That's
I
interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys remember, but there was a store called Media Play before what is it now? FYE.
Oh yeah.
Before
Okay.
that, yeah, before that there was Media Play.
Okay.
Me and my dad would go in there and we would, disperse, and I would go put on the headphones and listen to whatever. And I was super into like a lot of new age stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Too
but
cool.
then I was playing Vice City at the time, and then at Media Play, they had the Vice City soundtrack, and it had every radio station was a CD, a separate CD, and a pack itself.
Mm.
So I was like, Dad, please, I need this.
Mm.
And he bought it for me, and
Wow.
I went to middle school. Every day I was with my Walkman, the CD player with the headphones blasting every radio station. I was like, oh, this shit's so good. And everyone around me was just into like G Unit and Eminem and
The early 2000s, huh?
The
yeah,
early
yeah.
2000s, yeah.
I remember that.
And I was into like Go West, Duran Duran, and
Oh man.
You had Pet Shop Boys and stuff like that.
yeah. So I mean,
Fascinating.
that's
Fascinating.
stuff that inspired me. So I mean,
Is that a
just-
Vice City poster right behind you, or are my eyes deceiving me?
it is. It's from the PS2 game when they do the map and stuff.
Very
Wow.
cool.
Yeah.
Very
What other,
interesting to hear.
What other
to
video
hear-
games and movies are like very nostalgic and seminal to you? Do you want to
What else
any
spoke
others?
to you? It's very interesting too because these things spoke to you even though you weren't, born in that era. And it's very interesting to see how, like, wow, this really clicks with me. Like, yeah, what are some other movies or soundtracks or music in general that sort of spoke to you too around that age? That
And I want to know about video games too.
and video games, yes, of course, the video games.
Movies and video games. So some movies would definitely be Legend. I don't know if you guys ever seen
I'm familiar with Legend,
Yeah.
absolutely, with that devil Tim Curry. Oh my
Yeah.
God, that's such an outstanding visual. What a great costume, makeup effects.
that. Yeah, I love that movie.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah, my dad showed me that movie when I was a teenager, and I just, that movie's great. I hate Tom Cruise, but that's one of the only movies I like him in.
That's the same director as Blade Runner, I believe, but the name escapes me.
Yeah, same too. I'm horrible
It's
with
Ridley
Names.
Scott. Sorry.
yeah, I was about to say Ridley Scott.
People Under the Stairs, Wes Craven.
Oh, People Under the Stairs. Oh wow, I don't get that's a fun one. I haven't thought about that movie in years.
That's a great fucking movie. I gotta watch that movie like once a year. Big Trouble in Little China. John
Of
Yeah.
course.
Fucking
Oh,
love Big Trouble in Little China.
I'm about to say there's absolutely no way that Isaac doesn't adore that film.
Fucking
You know
love
what I
that
mean?
film.
Yes, that's one of my favorite all-time, probably like #1 movie. Kurt Russell
Love
is
John
like,
Carpenter.
It's such a wild ride.
oh yeah,
It's a wonderfully funny and irreverent film too. You know what I mean?
oh yeah. It's like I try to tell people too that don't kind of understand it. They're used to watching like what's out next, like Halloween 10 or whatever. But I'm just like, yo, watch Big Trouble in Little China because
Nothing.
like,
Yeah.
it's adventure, it's horror, it's comedy, it's
Mhm.
romance, it's everything intertwined, and I just it's a great movie.
It is. It's really its own thing. You know, so many other films are trying to be something, and this is like, oh no, it's going to take all its favorite things from a lot of other things. You know, whether that be the kung fu movies
Right.
of the '70s and the fantasy films that were big in the 80s, and then have like that sort of like interesting like sort of hero archetype, that sort of like that sort of irreverent hero sort of archetype. Like it's just so many things combined into one, and it becomes its own unique feel. That's the thing about that film too, is it's like it's super unique. Not a lot else feels like it. So that's why it's like hard to like, you know, people, you got to watch this. This is everything, because it's not going to remind you of anything else, and yet it'll still remind you of multiple things. And that's an interesting thing for a film to achieve.
The best part about Kurt Russell's character is he's like one of the only like white people in the entire cast, and he's just a bumbling idiot. Like on purpose. You think that he's supposed to be the hero, but he's just fucking shit up the entire time. Meanwhile, the other guys are kicking ass. Even the women are just kicking ass. Yeah. And he's just being an idiot the whole time. A naif. Thank you, man. There you go with the vocab. But it's still good fun. And it was John Carpenter's, I believe, one and only foray into, you know, like martial art films, and he really tore it down.
Yeah. Another one would be Dario Argento. I don't know if you guys are familiar, but
familiar with Dario Argento.
Of course, Chris is.
You understand that the Skeleton Lipstick album cover for Glows the Melts is the Inferno poster. It's just
Yes, I do understand. I was kind of
I'm quite familiar with Dario Argento. Go on.
So, a lot of my friends, well, you know, two of my friends that I grew up with in middle school, and even now we're still friends, they're huge film nerds, and they introduced me to a lot of like Italian horror, and
nice.
So they were like, check this out, you're gonna dig it. And I was like, oh my god, the colors, like Suspiria.
Suspiria, yeah.
Oh my god. And then I got into like Deep Red and all that.
Yeah. Oh wow, that's a good one. That's a good Giallo film right there.
Giallo, yep. And it's just like, man, a lot of music is just so fucking good. It's on point. And like, I wanted to sort of bring that to the album that I put out, All Out. But I wanted to make it more pop. But it was like, man, you know, I can't, I'm torn. Like, I want to make a lot of things instrumental. I want to make a lot of things with vocals. But it kind of all intertwined in itself. And, you know, hopefully, I feel like with an album, one album, you can't fully express yourself the way that you want. I feel like you have to have like 2, 3, 4 to sort of show like those references that you love and stuff like that. So hopefully I'll be able to express that a little bit more. But yeah, video games though, like I said, Vice City, but even before that, I was a super N64 fan. So
hell yeah.
My dad he couldn't afford a lot of stuff, so he would buy me like the cheaper end games that were on sale and games that people didn't want to play a lot. So he got I don't know if you guys are familiar, but I think it's Jet Force Gemini.
Yes.
Yep. And Iggy's Wrecking Balls. I don't know if you're familiar with that one.
No, sir. Iggy's Wrecking Balls.
Oh my god, that shit was great. And then there was a car game called like Rush. I don't know if you remember that one. But those were great. And a lot of the soundtracks to those, you know, had a lot of like 90s, early 2000s like dance house vibes to them.
Did you ever play Bomberman Hero?
Bomberman Hero? No.
It has like a drum and bass soundtrack that fucks. Did you ever play any of the Chameleon Twist games?
No. Oh, so you're bringing me a whole other world. Hang on.
Well, those were some like B-side games, right? That you would rent and be like, "Oh, I bet this game's gonna suck," but it's like a cheaper rental, and then you would play it and be like, "Damn, this game actually kind of slaps."
Yeah, there's a lot of like, oh man, there's a lot of games that were so fucking cool, and it's just like, oh, I love the soundtracks, and I live for like corny, cheesy stuff. That's just like, nobody's gonna be like, oh yeah, that's good, but a select few of people really get it, and they're like, no, that's fucking genius.
Like in Houseplants when you have the little dog barking sounds.
Right, yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, the stuff that people don't usually get, it's because it's almost too creative. It's too out there. You know what I mean? In the same way that sometimes it's difficult to introduce someone to Big Trouble in Little China because it's so out there. You know what I mean? It's so going against the norm, and that's what's brilliant, right? Is that it doesn't. It's not these things that you like are not following specific rules. You know what I mean? That are guaranteed. That would guarantee somebody's success or guarantee a lot of people would like it. No, they're trying to be their own unique thing, and being unique is a difficult thing to do. So you got an eye for it. That's awesome.
Yeah,
And an ear for it.
And an
Strip
ear for it.
Silence
Yeah,
asked a
an ear
ways
for
back.
it, yeah.
Strip Silence wants to know if you're ever going to collaborate with your father.
We talk about it all the time. He's got
So adorable.
he's got like a soundboard in his spare bedroom and bunch of keyboards and drums, and I mean I want to, but me and him were both like, oh man, a keyboard, we know how it sounds, we kind of know how it works, but like the actual, we say fuck the pamphlets. We're like, man, it's just like so difficult. It's like, and then he's asking me questions, can you fix my keyboard from like 1997? And I'm like, dude, I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, we talk about it so much, and it's like, I want to so bad, and I feel like if we did, it would be fucking awesome.
Maybe one day. No rush.
Yeah.
We have the rest of our lives.
Yeah, exactly. So here's the thing is, okay, when did you make the decision that you wanted to make music yourself? You've been listening to it, you liked it, you had a specific taste that you were developing for it. When were you like, and you knew how to play it, obviously, so when were you like, you know what, I'm going to start trying to make my own music?
Probably around like 2000. I didn't quite get around to actually making my own music until around like 2019, 2020. But if we go a little back further, I used to have an old like gateway computer.
Okay.
And there was this DAW program called the Acid program.
The
I had Acid. It's
Yeah.
actually the first program I used to try and start making music as well, was
I think that's what
Acid
Picture
Pro or
Plane
whatever it was
uses.
called. That was the first DAW that I used as well back a long time ago in the 2000s to try and make music myself. I remember I like made some stuff. I called that project In a World of Ghosts or whatever. It was the first time so I am familiar with Acid, absolutely.
Yeah, and my dad was like, so this is what you do. You kind of like splice the stuff, make your own tracks, use some of the samples that they already give you, whatever. And I would just like kind of place things where I wanted them. And I was like, oh, I can make music. Like, this sounds good. And so, I mean, it was kind of like a timeline.
Yeah.
Like, at a young age, I was like, okay, I want to make music. How do I get it out there? And then, later on, around, like I said, like 2017, 18, I was like, I'm going to fucking do it. Like,
Nice.
it's got to happen at some point. And, to be honest with you, I'm horrible with DAW programs. Like, if you show me FL Studio, Ableton, I've seen them all, and I'm like, man, this shit's... I feel like I gotta be some sort of intellectual to...
No shit. It looks hard as shit.
Yeah, and it's just like... So, when I made Houseplants in 2020, it was off my phone.
Wait, what?
Wow.
Yeah, Houseplants...
Really?
Never would have guessed.
Made off my phone on the GarageBand iPhone app, and
That's awesome.
Yeah, I try to stay away from a lot of like the preset, given stuff. I hate that shit. It sounds so bad to me. So I was like,
Yeah.
I was actually listening to Satin Sheets,
Nice.
and I was like, okay, so these drums and this bass and all that, I kind of tried to incorporate into Houseplants, and that's how it gave me the not the platform, but the
Like the framework?
Right, yeah.
Framework. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Or the
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the concept of active listening, like if you want to make music and the best thing you can do is listen to a lot of music like really actively, like really pay attention to it, and then get on the DAW or whatever you're using and kind of just fuck around. Like you have the ideas in your head, have the sounds in your head that you like, and see what you can do to approximate your own version of that, right? And it'll come out fully unique because you're going to do your interpretation of trying to do something that somebody you admire is doing. You know what I mean? It will come out completely different, and then it becomes you. But I think that's great. That's like what I recommend to everybody. Like, well, how do I produce? I'm like, well, you produce by listening to music. Like you become a producer by actively, like, really closely listening to the stuff that you like a lot.
Or maybe trying to imitate something.
Well, you are, you are, but it will not come out as an imitation because it will be filtered through your own imagination and your own specific way of approaching something. You know what I mean?
Very
you cannot really, and that's like that's the thing about active listening and not having like a lot of idea of how to technically do it. You know what I mean? The less that you understand, especially when you start making music, the less that you understand technically, the better. Honestly, because then you kind of have to develop your own workflow for making it. So like the less you know, the better. Then the more you deeply listen to the stuff that you like a lot and kind of want to be in the same realm of, and the less you actually know when you get into the music making process, like honestly, the more you'll just become better in touch with who you are and you'll start developing your own sound. Then once you do that, you can start learning more details of how to produce, et cetera, et cetera. But I think you should start off by not knowing that much. I think that's the best way to do it.
The best way to do it. I'm very DIY, just for the sense of, myself, of wanting DIY. And that's what vaporwave is. It's all like DIY stuff, and it's like, hey, motherfuckers, listen to what I'm doing in my bedroom.
Yup.
Hey, yep.
Give them a run for their money.
Right. Yeah, pretty much.
Be Careful has a really good question, by the way, that people have asked us to ask. Do you have any dream collabs in the scene? Anyone you'd like to work with, not just with music, but maybe visuals and artwork collab artists as well?
Oh, that's a great question because there's so many. It's like,
I mean, you sort of collaborated with Male Tears a little bit, right?
a little bit, yeah. That's when I first released like houseplants, like I said, and Male Tier James, he hit me up and he was like, hey, can you do some like a little bit of vocal stuff for me? And I was like, sure. He was like, just say it's Male Tears, and I was like, okay. So I like my fucking gaming headset and I recorded like it's Male Tears and like an English accent or whatever. And
nice.
like, just to let you know, like houseplants was sort of like I was going for that vibe, and then I was like, nah, let me come into my own sort of thing. But yeah, he definitely hit me up to do that, and I would love to do something with Male Tears. It would be so cool.
Yeah, James is great.
Love James.
Yeah. And it's kind of a long shot here, but I would love to do something with Mesh.
Nice.
He's something else. I have no words for a lot of his stuff, and I'm just like, man, this is crazy stuff, and I would love to do, like, just use a broader horizon of not just, like, 80s synth pop and vaporwave and stuff like that, because I listen to a lot of shit. Yeah. So, and he definitely brings that to the table of, experimenting and stuff like that, and it's like, man, I would love to do something with Alex. It would be so
to have one of your tracks meshed would be a phenomenal experience.
Exactly.
I'm still jealous you got to meet up with them at Electronicon. I tried to find Mesh so hard.
No, I didn't. I didn't even try. I was at the St. Pepsi set, like on the very outskirts where like the bar was and stuff, and all of a sudden I feel a tap on my shoulder, and he was like, "Hey," and I was like,
"No way." He recognized you.
Holy shit, no fucking way.
Of course, I came up to you. I was like, "That's Janelle. What's up? Good to see you
Oh,
finally in person." But
It was so great meeting everybody, and I feel sort of bad because, like, the way my brain works, I'm like, okay, I know these names on Twitter, but I can't make the face with the names, and a lot of people came up to me, and I was just like, wow, I was actually taken away by it because, you know, I went with my boyfriend, and he was like, Janelle, I
who
feel
was
like
super cool, by the way.
yeah, he was like, I feel like a lot of people are gonna notice who you are, and I was like, I don't think so. Like, and it was just nuts, just something I never expected in my life.
It's a strange experience, right?
Oh yeah, it was amazing, but
So fun.
it was overwhelming a little bit because like
Quite overwhelming, yeah.
you're drink your tears, and I'm like, yeah.
Very cool.
It's a very fascinating experience to just be surrounded by that many people who will maybe potentially recognize you. I mean, I couldn't go a few feet without running into people who knew who I was.
Nice.
When I went at these.
I don't get that as often, but whenever it happens, it's real fucking weird.
It's super weird. Like,
That
I
happened
don't
to you
know,
at
It's
the-
awesome. To be clear, it's awesome, but it's like,
it's awesome, but it's weird.
yeah,
It's like,
I'm young Shiro, you know.
it's like, oh, I want this to happen. Like, I want people to know who I am just for liking what I'm putting out.
Yes.
And then also I have this sort of like conscious thing where I'm like, nobody really cares about what I'm doing. Nobody really actually listens to what I'm doing. And then when I went to Ecom 3, it was like the complete opposite. And I was just like, what? So that, I feel like it inspired everybody from, you know, just artists who make stickers to artists who make music to artists all around the board. It was just super inspiring. And then, you know, I got home and I was like, I have a daughter. I got a full-time job. I'm like, I'm inspired, but I can't fucking do anything right now.
Oh no.
The time will come.
It will come. It will come. Yeah. I'm not stopping anytime soon. So
There's no need to. Yeah.
Really
Yeah.
quick before we move into the second hour of our broadcast, though, was there anyone else you wanted to mention that you really like as a visualist, or any other musician that you would like to collaborate with?
So, as a visualist, I've already collaborated with this individual, which CBTV Haze.
Oh, I love
Oh,
Haze.
yeah,
I love Haze
absolutely.
so much. I got to meet them
Wonderful
IRL
person.
in Mesa when I played, and they're so fucking awesome.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So they did a lot of music videos for my singles that I put out, and man, I would love to do something with Haze again, and man, Bianca Fanty.
Oh, love
Shout
me.
out B. We love B.
Yeah, they
We stand
made
B here.
yeah, you know, they made my I Wanna Fit In album, or not album cover, but single artwork, and the what was it? The geez, I can't even remember my own music, but so good. Just I don't know. And when people ask me, like, is there anyone you'd want to collab with? It's like, oh, I want to collab with everybody. But it's
We
like,
love you. I love your enthusiasm.
yeah, and it's I get ahead of myself sometimes too, and I'm just like, oh, you want to collab? And then they're like, yeah, let's collab. And then I'm like, yo, this is 3 weeks gone by. I haven't done shit. I'm so sorry, but I gotta take a chill pill here. I got too ahead of myself.
It takes me months to get back to stuff like that. I'm so busy.
Right.
Mhm.
But yeah. So whoever wants to hit me up, I guess, and be like, yo, what's up? What do you want to do? I mean, I'm down for whatever. It's just going to take me some time.
Takes everybody time. I mean, we all
Rome
have
wasn't
lives.
built in a day.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard to make music in general. Sometimes, like, you want to do it, and then you're like, ah, fuck, I'm not inspired, or like, oh my god, this is getting difficult, or am I over my head with how many things I've agreed to, things and such like that. Yeah, it's a thing. And then you're like, oh my god, I have to work on my thing too, and Yeah, it's difficult to manage. And then you have a real life as well.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, oh, real life fucking sucks.
Well, I'm going to grab another drink, and I'll let Chris ask a couple more biographical ones before I start asking the silly questions.
Oh,
Yeah.
no. So what is making music for you? What does it do for you? Like, why do you like to make music?
I honestly like making music just to hear what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And just to kind of not compare it to other songs that I like. But also, yeah, like I like to be like, oh, I really like this song. I kind of want to make a song that sounds like that.
I see. Yeah.
And
So you
I'll,
find music that speaks to you, and then you're like, this speaks to me. I want to make something like this because I feel like this song really connects to me. And do you ever feel like, well, if I make the song that connects to me, I don't know, maybe I'm almost like I'm not only just growing as an artist, but almost like growing as a person. You know what I mean? It's an interesting art is an interesting thing. You know, the stuff that we connect to says something about who we are. So I think like it's just like the natural impetus of the artist to hear or see the thing that connects to them and be like, I want to make my version of that because this connects to me and I want to see what I can do. So do you feel pretty inspired when you make music? Do you feel like, I don't know, do you enjoy the process or is it a difficult process?
it's enjoyable and difficult. I mean, a lot of the times it's difficult for
A
sure.
lot of the times it's difficult. Is that because of the limitations that you have or what?
Limitations and just knowledge that I want to know more of, like on a producing aspect and things like that. And I'm just like, I listen, like I said, when you listen to a lot of artists, you're like, I want to kind of have that sound, but I want to make it my own. I don't want to copy.
No.
But it's hard to explain.
No, I know it's hard to explain. That's why I'm asking about it. I know it's hard to explain. That's why I'm asking. So that's an interesting thing. So I have a question for you also is that, okay, so the actual specifics and technicalities of producing is always difficult for all of us, not just you, but you seem to have a really nice grasp over song structure.
Absolutely
you know what I mean?
agree.
Like you are able to make songs that, you know how to like put your chords together where you play them the right amount of time to do like a melody that people can nod their head to. You know how to write a chorus. You know how to
Janelle can write a
conjoin
pop
these things
song.
together. So that's an interesting thing. Does that come naturally to you, or did you study songs that you liked and like listen to the songs closely to figure out how they were structured? Like how did you figure that out? Because you seem to be very good at that. And you've talked about your one more thing. I'm so sorry. And you've been talking about your difficulties, and your difficulties have been with the specifics of producing, but you haven't actually really mentioned about a difficulty with constructing the song itself. Can you talk a little bit about your songwriting process? Like, does that come naturally to you?
Yeah, so most of the time I kind of just play around on a keyboard or whatever. I'm using MIDI control or whatever, and
Yeah.
I just kind of like play around, and I'm like, okay, this sounds good. And I get like a verse going. And then when it gets to like the chorus, I'm like, what the fuck do I do? And then I listen to other music and I'm like, okay, well, what if I do something like this? Or, and I take a lot of that in, but then I'm like, I got to figure this out on my own somehow. So,
Interesting.
yeah, so I kind of try to incorporate what I listen to and what I want to do myself with like the whole songwriting process. It's kind of all over the place. It's very ADHD.
That's really funny
Be
because it
Careful
sounds so
asks
structured.
if any of your songs or projects have had a really memorable or standout creative process behind them.
What's that? What's the question again?
Be Careful says, have any of your songs or projects had a really memorable or standout creative process behind them?
Memorable or standout process. Okay. Ooh, man. It's like when you're making music, you kind of zone out a little bit. So I can't.
Yes, exactly. There you go. Now, go ahead.
So I mean,
Zone out.
the one song on the album All Out, Fool, for example, I actually took part of the clip from the movie, sampled that, and a lot of the music in that movie was very like early 90s, 80s chase scene sort of deal, and it's like very like piano, like and I love that shit. And
Yeah.
I don't know if if you can understand what I'm saying, like an action scene or like a chase scene.
I get it.
I love that stuff.
The tension.
Right. And that song, it was actually supposed to be a full song on the album, but I couldn't really figure out how to make it a full song, so I kind of cut it short and made it sort of like an interlude sort of deal. But
Yeah.
that one stands out to me a lot because that writing for that song was difficult for me. It was just difficult. It was like, okay, I want this to sound like this, but it sounds too theatrical, sort of. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It didn't really blend with the album.
So
But,
that's it. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I think that was very interesting what you just touched on about the zoning out process. That's something that I've experienced, and I think a lot of other artists maybe experienced too, is that like I couldn't tell you exactly how I made some of my music at the end of the day, because it's just like it's like an ADHD thing, or it's like a process where you're all over the place and you're just putting things together. You're trying ideas, something works, you put that off to the side, and you try and conjoin it with another thing. And by the time you're done, like once you start getting into a rhythm of it, you're like, okay, things are coming together. This goes here, this goes here. All right, we're gonna add this, and let's go back to that chorus again. Let's add a little melody over top that. Okay, let's go back. Let's change. Oh, let me go back and change the drums over here a little bit. Okay, now we got to the chorus. We're gonna make the cymbals. We're gonna increase the intensity of them for this part.
Fun.
I don't even know. Sometimes it's really hard too, though. That's the thing. It's really difficult. And then like hours pass by and you zoned out. And like it's really hard to go back and talk about how you even made it. This is one of the questions why I was asking you that question. Is like, how's this process work for you? And it's true. Like it's like what you said. It's like, I don't know, you kind of just zone out at some point, and then you're like, wow, the muse has taken over.
The
Like
spirit of
something
creation has taken
something
over
else.
me.
Something else has taken over at this point, or I've gotten into something in myself that's different. You know what I mean? And it's almost ethereal, and it's a strange process. And it's interesting to hear you say that zone out comment, because I know what you're talking about. I think a lot of other artists do too.
Yeah, and there's like certain points in time where I'm like making music and I'm like, all right, I need a few fucking shots to get the fucking brain flowing here. Like,
Dude, I have to stop and leave and like watch a dumb TV show or something for a little bit. I give myself a break.
Like for Houseplants back in 2020 when I wrote that, it was like, all right, I got my iPhone in my hand, I got whatever, my headphones on my head, all right, let's do this. And then I'd have to take a break and I would play Call of Duty for like, till I would die in the game. And then I'd be like,
thank you.
All right, let's go back to this music writing and whatever. And it's like, sometimes I need a very like, okay, let's work on music for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Let's take a break, get something to eat, play a video game, come back upstairs and get back to the music thing. If I can't think of anything, it's like, all right, I'm quitting for the day.
Sometimes like you gotta like lubricate the old, the brain so you don't overthink things too.
Overthink, yeah.
I don't produce, but I mix, and I will definitely overthink mixing if I'm not maybe just a little inebriated to shut my brain up.
You get hypercritical, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would be able to mix or DJ or something. Oh, that would be so much fun.
You
are already producing music. That's way harder than mixing is. Bubba
everything has
Sawyer
its own
1995 also wants to know what your favorite song you've ever made is.
My favorite song?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Ooh.
Which one are you the most proud of?
Man, that's such a hard
Never mind.
You'll come back to that one.
Yeah. Let me come back to
I
that one.
cut
Yeah.
Chris off anyways.
No, it's fine. I just was interested. Okay. I guess the one other thing that I do want to ask is, you just described your process a little bit. Do you have any recommendations for people? Any advice for people who are making music? Any general advice? It could be anything. Like what you just said about taking the breaks is a good advice. Is there anything else in particular you would recommend to people?
Take your time. Don't rush. Don't set a deadline for yourself.
Yeah.
Because I like to get ahead of myself and be like, hey guys, I'm having an album coming out in 3 months,
Fuck, man, I do that all the time.
and I'm a week ahead of
And then you recall the whole album.
Yep.
Fuck, I could
Yep.
write 5 fucking songs for this album and then rush through it. So like, don't rush. Like, I know time to me is everything, and I'm like, man, I don't have enough time in a day to do anything I want, but like, if you just take your time and really think things through, that's probably your best bet. And then like, if you're stuck on anything, just come back to it. It'll always be there, so that's kind of my advice. Just take your time, don't rush through stuff, and just from experience of doing that myself, it's like so stressful. And then like when the single or the album releases or the EP or whatever the case may be, you're like, man, I could have added this in there, I could have done this differently. But if you would have just taken the time to do it and not be like, hey everyone, I'm putting this out just because you want to please everybody, it's not always the best case scenario. So
That's really good advice.
Good advice.
I have a question for you. I want to kind of go back to the geeky, nerdy music fandom for a little bit. I want to ask, unless you already covered it, I want to ask about the story when you discovered your absolute favorite act or album, if you want to make it a little more specific, or even your favorite genre, if you want to make it a little broader.
Favorite genre would definitely be like 80s synth pop, new wave, Duran Duran.
Very cool.
I don't know. When people say like new wave, there's such a very big horizon to new wave, and it's like,
Yeah. Like New Order, Gary Newman.
yeah, are we going like dark new wave, or are we going like pop new wave, or are we going, you know what I mean?
Like guitar-driven new wave,
So, I mean, I don't know. There's so many people. I did write a few down for this question, but I mean, artists that I really enjoy are, like I said, like John Carpenter, Talking Heads.
Nice.
I really like Sade, Spandau Ballet, Huey Lewis and the News, Modern Talking, Fancy, Double X.
Fancy. I love Fancy.
I'm not familiar
Lady
with
of
Fancy.
Ice. Oh my God.
Oh, Lady of Ice. Okay, I'm familiar with Lady of Ice.
Nice. That song's so fucking good. It hits
So
so
you
hard.
must have a really unique, take on vaporwave, because you probably hear a lot of the vapor songs and you're like, oh, that's a really interesting flip of that. How do you feel about that when you hear like a flip of a song? Do you typically like it as much, better, less?
I just like, a vaporwave take on certain songs, because it's like, okay, that person knows the song that I was listening to that I thought nobody else was listening to, and it's like, it's recognized, and I really fucking enjoy that. And like, a lot of 90s like R&B stuff, gets turned into vaporwave stuff, and I enjoy that, like Bobby Brown and stuff like that.
It gets sampled a lot in lo-fi house too.
Yeah, and it's just so cool that, in the vaporwave community or wherever, when people, know the origin of a song and where it came from or whatever the case may be, even if they don't know the year, the time, the whatever, as long as it's recognized, I think that's so fucking cool. Like, I just think it's so neat.
It's like the opposite of gatekeeping. It's like, hey, let me put you on. Like,
Right. Yeah.
Like here's my I mean, I don't know if vaporwave is inherently a remix art. I feel like it is. Some people would probably disagree with me, but like I totally agree with you. That's how you can find common ground with people for sure. Especially when you recognize that deep cut.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure.
Yeah.
All right, so we had a question that somebody asked a while. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. I already asked that. Hey, how do you feel about genres? We've name dropped a lot of genres. Are you a fan or not so much?
Of genres?
Yeah, love them or hate them. What do you think?
I think genres are sort of needed in a way. I mean, it's like, I don't know, you can't just not have a genre for something.
When
You
people
can't.
say you are a synth-pop-influenced vaporwave or vaporwave-influenced synth-pop, do you like that, or does that rub you the wrong way?
No, not at all. Like, whatever people want to classify me as musically, it doesn't really bother me too much. It's like, I don't know. I find myself more so in the vaporwave community because that's where I found myself musically to be
Where you
able
click.
to, right,
Yep.
where I built the courage to actually be like, hey, I can do this. You know, if other people are doing it, I can too. So like, I like to kind of put myself in that vaporwave synth pop category.
Yeah.
But I mean, if someone else listens to me and they're like, hey, this sounds kind of like dream pop to me, which I don't know why the fuck they would think that. But like, if they want to say that,
That's fine.
Or like if someone approached you
Really
to be on
choose
like
to
a
interpret
synthwave
you.
comp or something.
right.
However you are chosen to be interpreted is fine, as long as if people connect, they connect.
They connect. Yeah, right.
That's the
right.
interesting thing about a lot of vaporwave in general is that there are people who will hear an artist from this world, and be like, "Oh, this is this," and it's like, "Yeah, sure." I mean, the scene is so amorphous. You know what I mean?
True.
That it allows for that, in
And
my
there's-
opinion, at least.
There's so much like genre bending, like
I love it.
genre now that it's like, I mean, you can't really pinpoint too many things. Like you can involve like house, like deep house with vaporwave if you really wanted to. You could, you know, you can intertwine certain things to make them people think one thing of it's some sort of genre, and other people think things,
yeah.
you know. So it's just,
I
I mean,
don't-
genre is good, but I think if you take the time to find the artist that you really like, you'll figure that out for yourself, sort of deal.
Well
So,
said. Are there any trends in music that you can point out that you dislike?
Oh wow, what, we got an answer?
I really fucking hate like the hey ho music, like the Lumineers.
That's really funny.
Clap, stomp, hey.
Oh my god,
That's so funny.
I can't
Yeah.
stand it.
I thought it would be over after a few years, but it seems like it's been 10
Is it
years
still
going
around?
strong.
Is it still going strong? Really? Gross.
Sort of.
Oh,
Ukulele
that's
core,
unfortunate.
live, laugh, love, Bastille.
Is it really? Are we not? I can't. I hope you're wrong. That's sad. I don't want to hear
It's a
it.
very succinct but very evocative answer. I love it. Chat, run up our questions for Drink Your Tears. We still got 40 minutes in this bitch.
Although we want to get those questions in now because like before you know it, we start getting down to those last 15
Before you
minutes.
know
we
it,
gotta
we're
do shout-outs.
dialoguing. We're playing Fuck, Marry, Kill. So get those questions in. Can you name an artist within the scene? You've already named some. Can you name anyone that you could directly consider an idol or mentor?
Lux Elite. Holy
Me
fuck.
too. That's my idol
Holy-
for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's so good. And then when I saw her live, I was just like, oh my god, this is even better than what I thought. Like,
Wasn't it?
So fun, wasn't it? So fun.
it was so fun. And like, oh man, I just feel like concerts nowadays are just everyone going, But I'm out there fucking like, yo, let's dance, and I was trying to get everybody into it, and everyone was into it.
Right.
Everyone was totally into it.
I
loved
filmed
it.
the whole thing, and I still haven't done anything with the footage. But of course, you know, I had to film the whole thing.
Of
I didn't
course,
get to
of
dance
course.
as much as I wanted to, but whenever I handed the Quiz helped me film some, and so did DS
Quiz.
Dude.
Oh, and
Quiz
what an
and DS
MVP.
Dude both
What
helped.
an MVP. Oh, DS Dude. What
DS
MVPs.
Dude and Quiz. So I'm sorry, I don't want to make this about me. I
Phenomenal.
was between Bianca Bee Fanty,
Love Bee.
DS Dude, Quiz, Danny, who, well, Danny's done some work for me in the past, but and I want to say somebody else that was super amazing was there too. But anyways, when I handed the camera off to Quiz and DS Dude, I got to jump up and down and dance, and it was fucking awesome.
So great when you can kind of just like, me and my boyfriend have this thing where like if we go to concerts or whatever with like just us two and not a friend group, we're like, yo, we're probably gonna end up splitting up. If I go in the front, you know, you can come with me. If you kind of get lost in the crowd, get lost. And I just went straight up front for Lux Elite,
Oh,
and it
yeah.
was so packed, and I was like, I gotta be up front for this. And I
Oh,
was
yeah.
I was next to N-Rail, and
Yeah.
oh, it was such a vibe.
It is so funny for me to be in the see the luxury elite set, and I was standing on the one of the elevated platforms. I just looking down, being like, man, I like know so many people in this audience right
It
now.
was
This is
amazing.
crazy. I'm like, I can't believe I know like at least like a third, if not more, of the people in this audience right now.
Janelle, did you go to any of the first Electronicons?
Yeah, I went to the first one. I didn't go to the
Oh, you
second.
did?
Nice.
Did you stay for the after party?
I didn't.
Ah,
No.
so sad. You missed
I-
the Terminally Chill after party.
No.
Like
So,
I
I didn't
got
get to
up
go to that
there,
one, but I
threw
wish
the-
I
a
did.
DJ, it was at the DJ sets. I DJ'd along with like Ryan and Lindsay and all those kids and James from DDS. It was another time.
Oh shit,
man.
be careful. That's a great question. Be careful wants to know what your dream econ lineup is.
Oh my God! Come on.
That's too funny. Be careful with the tough questions as
Be Careful's
usual.
got
I
some good
love
ones
that
tonight.
guy.
Giving Quiz a run for their money.
Oh, man. That's true. Be careful in quiz. Oh, I don't know. Everybody has such good questions. I can't. Most people, everybody who talks has good questions. What am I saying?
Oh, Jesus Christ. I mean, I feel like it's so hard. I don't know. I would have to say, like, some of the old SoundCloud Vapor artists, like I said, like Vector Graphics. I don't know how you pronounce their name, but is it like Bubba Brains,
Oh, shit. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, man, I missed them.
Bloodwave?
Oh, man, I love Bloodwave. That's my buddy. I talk to them pretty frequently.
Yep.
I remember when Runners Club was playing and they did you, and I was, said I was talking to Carl right when he came over to me while he was playing that song, and I was like, "Yo, Bloodwave says hi right now." He's like, he wishes he was here.
Oh, yeah, that would be awesome.
Love to see Bloodwave. Get them over from Italy. Come on.
Yeah, I want to say Bloodwave and Brains are from Italy. You got some love for the Italians.
Oh,
Yeah, Italian disco stuff. It's super
there you go.
up my alley. So, but yeah, I know they're not like vaporwave, but Drab Majesty would be kind of cool to have.
Oh, that'd be funny. I would love to see. I've actually never seen Drab Majesty, but I bet it's a great show.
I feel like they always play shows on the West Coast or like out of the States, so I just never get a chance to catch them. But man, I love Drab so much.
Lux
Are
says
they an
Brains
influence
is from
on your
Argentina.
songwriting?
Drab,
This is the kind of the first non-vapor artist that you've really mentioned. Non-vapor. This is one of the first contemporary
Modern
non-vapor
non-vapor, yeah.
artists. Yeah, one of the first contemporary non-vapor artists you've mentioned that you'd like to see. Are they an influence on you?
oh yeah, 100%. I love Drab Majesty so much, and like I feel like they're influenced by so much as well.
Yeah, they
Like-
are. Mm.
Like, I don't know if you guys ever heard of the band Dead Z before.
I am not familiar.
Dead
No.
Z.
Dead Z, you gotta check them out.
I
Apparently,
will.
vocalist is Cher's son or something like that.
What?
But Yeah, Deadsy is so fucking good.
Is it like dark
Interesting.
wave, kind of cold wave type shit?
A little bit, yeah, but they kind of remind me of like Gary Newman a little bit.
Interesting.
I got you.
But yeah, stuff like that. I don't know.
Oh, that's a
Interesting.
great fucking answer. I mean, not everyone that plays at Electronicon is vaporwave. You know, and some
Obviously,
people
yeah.
get big mad about it, and that's okay. You know, like
What are some other contemporary non-vapor artists that are an influence on you?
I like Laura Branigan. She's good.
Okay. Yeah.
I feel like she's kind of vaporwave if you make her vaporwave. But
And yeah, I got you.
okay.
yeah, like Shaka Khan.
Oh,
I don't know.
Shaka Khan.
Ooh, Shaka Khan.
Shaka Khan. Interesting.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys know who Peggy Goo is by any chance.
Peggy Goo, yeah.
Yeah, I love her. I started listening to her like two years ago or so. She's good. Another one that I really liked, I got into around 2020 is Slater. Not
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Slater.
not SLAAATER Slater, but or SLAYYYTER Slater,
Oh,
but
that's the one I thought you were talking about.
Slater SLATER Slater.
Slater.
And
okay.
he's super fucking good. I like him a lot. I don't know. I listen to music every fucking day, so
Good,
it's
yeah.
like hard to pinpoint. But yeah,
You
those
should be
are
a DJ. Okay,
What's up?
so Quiz has another good question. Quiz wants to know if you played any recent video games that have impacted your art. Anything recent?
recent video games. I'm more of an old school video game player, but nothing new has influenced my music really.
Gotcha.
I would say in 2020 I was obsessed with Red Dead 2. So not really. Right now for like the last year I've been obsessed with Fortnite. It pisses me off
Okay.
so fucking much, but I can't stop playing it. But that
You
hasn't
gotta unwind.
much that not really. Call of Duty, you know, I like the shooters and stuff nowadays, but I think I played I got what is it, the Switch, and I started playing Mario Odyssey.
Oh, I love Mario Odyssey.
Odyssey reminds me so much of Mario 64, and that was
Yeah.
one of my favorite games when I was a kid. Mario 64 has a hold over me for sure.
It's solid.
Oh, the soundtrack is so good. It's so vaporwave-esque.
I didn't
and-
realize how like iconic Dire Dire Docks was when I was playing it in like 1997, and now
Yeah.
it's like, I'm sure you've heard it too, Chris. It's up there
Oh,
with
yeah.
Aquatic Ambience.
What is this?
If the Dire Dire Docks track from Super Mario 64, it's like a 80s
what-
90s
I don't-
electric
you got
piano
to, like,
sound.
I guess once again,
It's
don't
a
have.
beautiful track that I think you would
I'll
really
listen
like.
to
It's
it.
very simple,
I'm
but
going. I probably have heard it. I'm going to go back
I'm
and
sure
listen
you
to it
have.
today.
I'll
Yeah.
send it to you.
good, and specifically from like that I guess you would say like scene of the game. There's so many like characters in the game that I remember that aren't like Mario and Princess Peach and stuff, like the water spiders. I don't know if you know what
I
I'm
love the
talking-
Water Strider characters.
Oh my god, they're so cool, and it's so like I don't know.
Interesting.
That whole game is just so
That level is probably the coolest level in the game, where you can make the water go really, really high, and you could swim down to like the underground city.
yeah.
I can't remember what it's called, but
Ethereal, and it's very like mysterious, and like I don't know, there's this sort of eerie feel to Mario 64 that's very
Sort of.
you know, it definitely resembles like vaporwave to me, like the mystery of vaporwave and stuff like that. It kind of coincides with each other, so I relate that a lot to it. And it's just like a lot of like the sound effects in that game too are just super like, what the fuck was that? And like I remember like I never beat the game, I don't think.
Oh,
or
wow.
if I can But just like the part where you're like constantly running up the stairs and it just keeps going and it's just like, when is this gonna end? And it was like, it was scary as a child, sort of like playing it, even though it's a fun, happy like game. There's that like eerie, mysterious sort of feel to the game.
Liminal.
Where, yeah, very
Strip
liminal.
Silence says liminal.
Yes, I love that stuff. It's so cool because it makes you question so many things. And it's just like, if a video game can do that for me, make me question life, I love it.
It's unreal that it's like a Super Mario game. I do love that.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you used to be super into musically that you just have kind of washed your hands of?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely, like I was saying before, like the deathcore, crabcore, hardcore.
Oh, the crabcore. That's
Yeah.
right. You off camera that you used to play keyboards in a attack style sounding outfit. Is this correct?
Oh my god, yes. I can't deal with it anymore. It's just so.
Hey, we all are
Does that
we're all
happen when we
looking for
age?
our place, and we don't always start in the right one immediately.
Right. But like I can still resonate with it. Like I hear
Yeah.
sometimes I'll go back and I'll be like, man, this shit hits so hard, like I'm ready to be in a pit and throw some fucking fist right now.
Right.
And then I'm like, I don't want to fucking play this shit live though. Like this shit sucks.
like you'll re-listen to it and be like, oh yeah, like I was driving back from St. Louis with Lux, and that one Death from Above 1979 album came on, and I was like,
that's a
okay,
fun one. I remember
fuck
that.
yeah, I love that album, but like, do I want to hear that? Like, if I haven't heard it before, do I seek out new music like that? No.
No,
I'm
neither do
over
I.
that.
Yeah.
But
This
for
is-
what it's worth, like I'll re-listen to that shit. It's a great album.
Yeah, it was a part of you at one point. You know what I mean?
A band that is like I don't know what you would call them nowadays. They have so many different names for genres and stuff, like we were saying.
True.
I don't know if you guys ever heard of Traders before. But I love Traders. They're very like I don't know if you would call them down tempo or whatever, but just
Familiar.
the guttural screams and vocals from that band. Oh, I love them. They're so good.
Apparently Bob is a fan. Okay. Says, ooh, Traders, very heavy.
Yeah.
I like that experimental hard stuff. It's just, I guess
Gotta
I've
look that
aged.
up.
I've aged too much. Do
I
you?
going to shows. I like going to the shows more than like just being an everyday listener, because if I get a few drinks in me and shit and I'm like going in the crowd, I'm definitely bound to throw some fucking arms and elbows, and I'm down for it. It's a fun scene, but I just I just can't sit there and listen to it. Just like a few others I can name that aren't sort of that genre, but like I never was a fan of Blink-182. I was never a fan of the Front Bottoms. I was like that sort of style, the whiny vocal sort of stuff. I just can't stand it.
Bob wants to know if you like Boundaries.
Boundaries. I have heard of Boundaries, but I can't name a song off the top of my head. But I feel like they're pretty badass. I think I remember hearing some stuff by them, but
Well, I guess I would have to ask, what is the weirdest music that you can name that you enjoy?
yeah. So like normies, I guess, would be like Mesh or like DDS, but
Fair. But to the
You-
Vaporwave fan, what is the weirdest
Definitely.
music that you enjoy?
What's the most left? The thing that we wouldn't expect.
I used to listen to the Red Hot Chili Peppers with my mom in car drives and stuff like that. And
That's
for
fun.
some reason over this summer, like I never really liked them too much, but over the summer I was like, oh, let me check out their album, their newest album and stuff. And I was like, you know what, I really like them, and I really like Primus a lot. They're good.
Primus. Oh, that's
A little
interesting.
funk.
Primus,
Yeah.
Les
Influence there.
Claypool. Wow, that is an interesting choice. I didn't see that one coming.
Yeah, Primus is fucking dope. I love them. Yeah.
I got some people in my life that are pretty big Les Claypool fans. It's not for me, but I respect it.
You are either into Primus or you are not into Primus, and there is very little in between with that band.
I got respect.
Yeah.
Bob just name dropped somebody else. Spite? Nope, that wasn't Bob. That was Bubba Sawyer 1995. Spite, are you a fan?
I know who Spite is. Like I said, I haven't really been into that genre too much, but I know who Spite is. I've listened to their music, and around the time I was making music in that area, whatever you want to call it, I listened to Spite. They're good, yeah.
Is there,
I don't know if he knows or who said that.
Bubba
Sorry.
Sawyer 1995.
Oh. That's my boyfriend.
Oh, what's up?
Seriously, that's so funny.
Thank you for tuning in. You should follow Hot Takes.
It's funny. It's so funny because like him and I started a lot of the bands back in the day that we were listening, or that we were. I was in the band. He was the drummer and I was the keyboard player and stuff.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, he plays drums and he's
I love
starting.
that.
Right now, he's starting like a Nirvana sort of band, grungy band right now. So
Very cool.
That's some throwback shit in 2022. Okay, so
Nice.
on the flip side of that, is there an act that you like a lot that you can guarantee nobody here has ever heard of?
I feel like the vapor community is very invested in like trying to do that already.
Know
Like,
everything.
Yeah, know everything.
That's why I like this community. It's interesting. That's why I like it.
We're
It's
all a
place where
bunch of
this
music nerds.
Yeah, like specifically like people who are music nerds about like obscure genres or cult artists, or like spend a lot of time to understand music movements and to glean what's to be learned from them. That's why I associate so deeply with this world because of that. You know what I mean? That's why I like it so much. So it's so much better than the other genre scenes.
Yeah,
People care about music like a lot. It seems to me here.
can't really think of like anyone that nobody wouldn't know, because I feel like in the vapor community, at least someone is gonna be like, "Oh, I know who that is."
Right.
Yeah.
So-
That's why it's so fun here.
That's why I really enjoy talking about. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Janelle. I really enjoy talking about obscure Christian metalcore bands with fire tools. Because most people in here are like, Esocaris, who's that? Training for Utopia? I've never heard of them, but Fire Tools has.
Fire Tools has, yeah, she's so good.
Angel is the best.
I think she is. I know her work is not for the uninitiated, and it's a little. It takes some appreciation of experimental music, but fuck it, she's doing stuff I don't think I've ever heard anybody else ever do. Maybe I'm a Philistine and just don't know.
Fucking genius. No. You are absolutely accurate. In my opinion, Fire Tools and Giant Claw are just like so deeply ahead of everything else in the world, in my opinion, practically. It's amazing. They're amazing producers, those two in particular, to me. Very inspiring.
Oh yeah, super inspiring. It's like when I hear people like genre bending and stuff, I'm like,
They are reality bending.
oh yeah, reality bending.
They are reality bending. Go on, I'm sorry.
Reality bending, that's cool.
I try to create that myself because I have that image in my head and that sound in my head. Like,
yeah, we all are actually at the end of the day when we make this music.
Yeah, it's like I want to fucking do that so bad, and then to achieve, like, well, I'm not really known for that sort of thing, so let me kind of stick with what people would associate with me with, I guess.
Yeah, it's like you said before. You could do different albums to express yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, do the side project thing.
I can never stick to one sound. I can't. It's impossible for me to do that. And I don't care. I won't do it.
Tell us about your music listening experience. How many hours a day? What methods do you prefer to use for finding new music?
I would say in the last 3 or 4 months, my music like hour listening, I guess, has gone down, unfortunately, because I had just accepted a job about 3 or 4 months ago that I thought I would like, but I absolutely fucking despise it. I'm so ready
no.
Damn.
Oh no.
I remember following that saga.
Oh God. And it's like, I don't know, I used to do deck collections since like 2014.
Holy shit. You're a real one.
Yeah, so I was always on, and it wasn't like legit deck collection. It was like scam deck collections where it's like, oh, I have a fake name. I'm telling you I'm a process server, but I'm really not, and like whatever. So like the companies didn't really give a shit what you were doing on the
That's
internet.
so funny. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
That's
So-
so funny.
Yeah, so it's like, I don't know, around like the 2014, 2017 era, I was on SoundCloud all fucking day at work, like all
Wow.
day, barely doing my
2014
job.
was a good time to be on SoundCloud.
Yeah. And it was like I was barely doing my job. I was more so music all day. And then like I mean now in the last 3 or 4 months it's gone down significantly, and I really wish that it hasn't. I wish that it hadn't been like that. But the job that I have now really entails me to not be able to listen to music on the job.
Requires your attention.
Disappointing.
Yeah, so he's just like, oh man, I wish I kind of had that back, but I mean, it is what it is. I don't know. When I have the free time, I definitely try to find new people, and nowadays how I do that is definitely through like Bandcamp, you know, reaching out to mutuals on Twitter and stuff, and if somebody follows me, I kind of scope out their profile, and I'm like, yo,
Yeah.
do they have a link tree to their music? Or
Oh, nice.
yeah,
Good on you.
yeah, and I always click on stuff. Whoever follows me, I'm very interested to know who it is, because I always want to know about people and get to know their story, because everyone has a story. So
Yeah, that's correct.
Best
yeah.
thing ever. All right. Well, if you don't mind me asking, since you and I have talked about it, you know, just as friends, what are some of your go-to karaoke songs?
Oh, great question. I would love to know the answer to this,
Being a
considering you have
well-known
such
singer.
a powerful voice.
I know we've talked about a few of them,
Yeah,
but I want to hear
I
your
want to
answer
stop for
first.
1 second before you answer that question. Did you take vocal lessons, or do you just naturally have this kind of powerful voice?
No, I never took vocal lessons.
Jesus Christ.
I've always been one to, like, shy away from like hiding my voice and stuff like that, and it's like, I don't know, I like to I make my music in my own privacy, so I get to actually do what I want to do vocally.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I don't know, even if someone's like, oh, you're a singer, let me hear you sing, I'm always
Right.
gonna be like, absolutely
No.
not. But I don't know, some go-to karaoke songs for me, you're gonna laugh, is like some Queen songs, Creep by Radiohead recently
Oh.
I've been to, which is an oldie and it's very well known, but for
Of
some
course.
reason the last like 2 or 3 weeks,
Excuse me.
yo, I really resonate with this song. But
Nice.
I mean, those are super singable songs. I know we
Well, it's a
talked
good
about
song for you to like
Human
express
by
the
the
voice
Human
through
League.
that song too. There's room. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I mean, Isaac, go ahead.
Oh no, I my dream duet with Drink Your Tears has been Human by the Human League.
Oh, that would be great.
you're only human. Yeah, I love that.
We talked about how
Wow.
difficult it is, and I lost my voice over the weekend, so I'm not going to try to hit that upper register. But when they say born to make mistakes and they hit that, they go up like an octave or whatever.
That's a good one. Oh,
It's a great one.
another one I love singing is The Look of Love by ABC.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that, and anything by like Spandau Ballet, or they're very I don't know. I like a lot of male vocals, so I've naturally become to be able to like sort of sing that baritone, like 80s male vocal esque sort of way. But I also love like super girly vocals that I don't know, that sound like super high pitched and stuff like that. So I think with what I'm trying to achieve with my music is like
Yeah.
you don't have to have that specific thing the whole time. And I just love experimenting like vocal range and stuff like that. And
Yeah, there's a big range on that album. That's what I was saying. Did you get lessons before, or no? You were just once again actively listening to things.
yeah, yeah. And a lot of people are like, "Oh, you should get a guy to sing the lower vocals in your music." And I'm like,
No.
that's the whole fun of it. It makes it so much fun for me to do. I love doing
Right.
that. It's so much fun.
Yeah, that's a very interesting aspect. Lessons, but no, it's the same thing with the music. You're just actively listening to get it into your mind, and then trying to, use your own natural resources to do your version of it. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. Very cool.
What are some sounds in music, since you have kind of described your
I'll be right back. I gotta grab a glass of water.
Yeah. Stay hydrated, by the way, chat. What are some sounds,
back.
instrument sounds, synth or acoustic that you really dislike?
Oh god, I can't really say any sounds, but I really fucking hate that song. I think it's called like 500 Miles by
Oh, wow.
the Proclaimers. I hate that song.
That's funny. Dun-dun-dun-dun!
Dude, every time I hear that, I'm like, shut it off! Shut the fuck
Shut
up!
that fucking... That's funny. That's funny.
Oh god,
I
hate
can't think
that.
of a song that I like loathe to that much intense. I mean, obviously, I've been given a hard time about a handful of songs that I don't much like, but I don't like loathe them. I just think they're kind of overrated.
Right. Oh god. That's a song, like that specific song, it like sends a chill down my spine and I'm
That's
like,
funny.
dude, I can't.
You know, yeah, we're not going to talk about what young Shiro doesn't like, but that's a good answer. And I mean, it definitely, I wouldn't say it's overplayed now, but it was at one time. Like,
Yeah.
definitely got way too much airtime. Is there any instrument or sound that you particularly like?
I love bass guitar. Bass
Hell yeah.
guitar, or like any sort of bass, really, like electronic bass, like 808s and stuff like that. I
Sick.
love it. I just think that if there wasn't any sort of like bass structure to a song, it wouldn't really be that good. I don't know.
Yeah, you know, some songs that are like way too tinny, I've definitely
Yeah.
been like, man, this shit needs to be remastered, or like we need somebody like to throw a bass line on that. You know, I'm not going to name any names, but I thoroughly agree. When there's not enough low end, it shows.
Yeah,
Um,
it definitely shows. I don't know, I was listening to like, it's weird listening to your own music, but I was listening to my stuff earlier in my car and I was like, holy shit, I could have turned down the bass so much in that song.
Chris was literally talking about that too. He debuted a new song at our show the other night, and I guess the bass kicked a little harder than he anticipated in a live setting. So yeah, you got to give it the car test. You got to give it the club test. Pacific Plaza with the great questions, Alex. Wants to know, who are some of Drink Your Tears' style icons? The Drink Your Tears aesthetic and look is always so on point.
Aw, how sweet. I love Grace Jones. Oh my
Fuck yeah,
God.
Grace Jones.
James. Oh, wow. Amazing.
I love Grace Jones' style. She is so badass. She gives
Yeah, she
Great.
is. So
I-
eccentric.
yes, I love her.
Such a strong presence.
Yes.
Lux and I watched Boomerang for the first time the other night, and Grace Jones is
Boomerang.
hilarious in that film.
She is hilarious in that.
Man, I don't know. Like, I posted this on Twitter the other day. It's like, I go from like super 80s, padded shoulder,
Yeah.
business suit sort of style to like, I don't know, like 90s vampire sort of thing.
90s vampire aesthetic. Yeah, you do have a kind of an interesting mishmash of that.
Yeah, so I don't know. I really love. I can't say I love the Blade movies, but I love
Yeah.
the way that they portray certain scenes and the style and the fashion in the Blade movies are so good.
Yeah, it's a very strong presence in those films. Yeah.
Lux stayed up too late the other night watching Blade, and I missed out. I have not yet seen Blade. I guess I'm going to need to.
It is so good. I love Blade. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Wesley Snipes so much now, but I don't know. There's a movie that he's in, and I forget what it's called, but I want to fucking see it so bad. It's where it's like him and two other guys, and they like dress up in women's clothes, and I think they're like drag or something like that. I forget. It's like an older movie, but I gotta look up the name of it again. But it seems so comical.
To Wong Fu?
Yes!
Is that how that's pronounced?
Yes.
I've not seen it.
Oh, I want to see that so bad.
Word. Thanks, Lux. Lux knows the answer to everything.
Yeah.
Whether it be obscure internet or 80s shit, she knows the answer to everything.
Yeah.
Well, before we get into the outro part of our show, I would really like to know the etymology and the story behind your project name, Drink Your Tears.
Okay, so behind the name, I feel like Drink Your Tears was a very meme-esque sort of phrase back in between 2009, 2012-ish. For some reason, I don't know what it is, but I can just picture it on a meme or whatever. But
yeah, like a mug where it's just liberal tears or something.
Yeah. And it has nothing to do with that, but when I started playing the newest GTA that's been around for fucking 10 years now, I was just like, yo, what's a username that I can use, or a gamer tag that I can use that's gonna piss people off when I kill them?
Oh, that's such a fun origin.
Yeah, and I was like, drink your tears, shut the fuck up, stop crying, you got killed, you're beat, it's done and over with. And then I made that my Instagram name, and that's when I started finding myself and expressing myself, and I was like, I'm just gonna make Drink Your Tears my own artist name.
It's a good one.
It is.
Yeah, it also kind of goes with the vaporwave aesthetic, sort of I feel a lot of Greek and Roman busts have that sort of very melancholy feel to.
Yeah. It's got kind of a melodramatic vibe to it as well.
Synth pop is also very melodramatic and sometimes kind of over the top and sad. So Drink Your Tears works great as a synth pop project name.
It's a great name, and I love the origin story for it too. Now that's so funny.
Yeah, so it all kind of worked out on its own. So
it did. It informed everything that followed.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You want to get a few more in before we go into our outro, Chris?
No, I'm ready to. We can start doing some shout outs. It's getting pretty late now,
Hell
actually.
Yeah, it is. So we like to reserve the last 5 or 10 minutes of the show to give our special guest the floor to shout out anything you want, promote, put us on, say anything you want.
Okay. I would like to shout out you guys, first of all, for having me on the show.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Yeah, it's super cool. I feel very honored to be on Hot Takes, and it's very I I don't know how to explain it, but I'm just like, oh man, this is like sort of a dream come true. It's so cool.
Oh, well, that's flattering. I just hope
Very
you had fun.
flattering.
And I would like to definitely shout out Futuro Surf for putting together my latest music video for one of the singles on my recent album, Panther Island. He did a great job with the visuals and stuff on that. And CBTV Haze and DZS. I don't know if you guys know or anyone knows, but he put together Pacer Test, my music video for me.
Okay.
And
DZS.
yeah, I think on Twitter I think it's like I am Zaros Vark or whatever. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It
Yeah,
sounds
yeah.
sort of
Yeah.
I remember that.
Bee Fanty for putting together a few single artwork
Yeah.
things, and man, I don't know. There's so many fucking people. I don't know, everybody. Lux and George and Negi Jemmy, Mesh, DDS. Man, I love all those people and very inspiring. The whole like Ecom 3 lineup, everybody on that was so fucking, it was so dope. And I don't know, I'd like to shout out everyone I could, but
Hell yeah. Very cool. Well, we're glad you came through as well. I don't really have anything. I was on the Latin All Stars Fest. I mixed a set for Lux.
Nice.
Strip Silence said they liked it, so that's cool. I got the gold star from Strip Silence, so it seemed to go off. You know, I just mixed some of Lux's favorite tracks, and they seemed to like it. But nothing coming up. I am not going to touch the DJ decks for like 2 weeks because Chris and I just had our show in St. Louis, Terminally Hot, which I'll just quickly recap. Went really well. The attendance was great. Ronnie really throws a very tight, very well organized, very high quality show. Stack Overflow and Tua were both lovely and both did great sets. I was very, very tired after my set, so I didn't get to see all of your set, Chris, and I'm very sorry for that. But I think you saw me.
No worries.
I was so tired, and I had a great time sharing a stage with one of my best friends, my co-host,
me too, man.
my idol and
absolute-
mentor,
No,
Skeleton Lipstick. So if you didn't go, shame on you. Just kidding. There will be more. All right.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say. What do you got, Chris?
All right, so, oh wait, sorry.
No,
Go
say
on.
what you're going to say first.
Say what you're gonna say first, please.
So I kind of like had an already like hot take sort of like thing.
Oh, go on.
Ooh, you come to the right place.
What's up?
If you don't pee in the shower, are you really human? That's my hot.
Yeah, that's
I'm
a good
only
one.
human.
Everybody does it. Yeah, nice segue there.
You gotta ask me the question though.
Okay.
Do I pee in the shower?
Do you
Right.
pee in the shower?
I don't.
Oh, wow. A twist.
wrong with
a plot
you?
twist. Didn't see
Yeah.
that coming. Wow. All right. Bite.
I do. I was just trying to.
Delicious.
Yeah.
Very fun. Okay, so I guess for me, Saturday, October 1st, 2022, is Daydream Deluxe is throwing the Firestar charity stream.
That's true.
I will be participating in that. It's going to feature such other artists as Dan Mason and Pat Changton and St. Pepsi and Snow Dream and Luxury Elite, of course, is in the chat right now. Encarta 95 will be there also. Groceries will be there. FM Skyline will be there. Groovy Kaiju will be there. ED will be there. I'm excited to see. Actually, I've never seen an ED set before, so I'm excited to see that. Who else will be there? Zero will be there. Tupperwave will be there. VCR Classique will be there. Wizard of Loneliness will be there. Aiden Chick will be there. Blue Screen will be there. Cadet and Dark Salon will be
Are
there.
you
which
reading
I-
a list, or did you memorize all these people?
No, I'm reading a list right now.
Okay.
Of course, I'm not crazy.
God
But Dark Salon will be there too, and that's going to be a very interesting thing. Also, Device Operator will be there.
Super
And Rail will be there, and
Yes.
Kawasaki will be there, and Griff, and Neon 95. That's great. Wizard of Loneliness, of course. Zycolin, and Zerotonine.
Can you repeat when that is? Because people are getting real
Drop,
interested.
and Fern Drop, October 1st, 2022. It's 2 days, I believe.
Damn,
no,
that
it's
sounds
1 day.
fast.
It's 1 day, October 1st, starting at 12 p.m. PST. That's Pacific Standard Time, October 1st. Twitch.tv/daydream_deluxe. He's putting it together. Proceeds are all go to the mental health group Beyond Blue. So once again, it's a pretty big one. We haven't done a live stream. I haven't participated in a live stream in a long time. And Daydream hit me up, and I said, yes, I will figure out how to do something for that.
Oh, that's special, man.
Okay, and then aside from that, there is a new live show that just got announced in Baltimore that I will be participating in, and that is called Bass House Volume 3. It's being set up by our dear friend Sage Hardware, who who's I think one of the most interesting artists in the entire scene. Sage Hardware, Sierra Mist, Visual Culture, Mr. Hideyoshi, Van Gogh, Be Careful, who's in the chat right now, and myself, Skeleton Lipstick.
Lineup.
November 5th. Doors are at 7. Show is at 8:10 p.m. at the Shamrock Inn on 6044 Harford Road, Baltimore, Maryland. Apparently, right down the street from Fiber's fiance's house. He texted me this earlier today after he saw that.
Who's super awesome, by the way.
Yeah, so that's pretty funny. So that's the thing. Other things are, the comp is out right now, obviously from Doom Trip, right? I'm on that with a bunch of other people. Also, not too many copies left of the album. I wasn't sure how well it would connect. It's a pretty cerebral album, but there's only a few more copies left on Business Casual. So check out my melodic ambient project. Polymath Vampire. Also, Skeleton Lipstick Glows and Melts in the Blood Splatter variant, and also in the Melt variant, available on Needle Juice Records. And in addition to that, I'm working on a new album. It's pretty much done, but I gotta fix the frequencies and make it sound good. It'll be called Kingdom of Death, and it's good. It's really good. You're all gonna like it. It's really cool. I like it a lot. I think you'll like it too.
It's a trip. Premiered the other night was fun.
Oh yeah, it's a trip. Right, I did 2 songs from it actually.
Yeah.
It's a trip. It's a whole big sprawling cerebral confessional interesting dive into my mind. You'll like it. But I just gotta fix the frequencies so it sounds nice when people hear it. Okay, that's good. That's enough.
Drink your tears, everybody. Thank you so much for coming out,
Thank
Janelle.
you for coming. Yes,
treat.
thank you, Janelle.
Thank you for everyone in chat.
Such a delight.
Such a delight. Can't wait to hear more from you.
Thanks for having me. I super appreciate you guys having me on the show, and it's very inspiring, actually. So thank you so much.
I'm glad to hear that you're inspired. Thank you guys for tuning in, all you regulars and newbies. We appreciate you being part of the Hot Takes experience. You can find us on all the social media platforms that there are. That's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube. We're there. You can follow us on those platforms. You can listen to us on YouTube, old episodes. We've had a lot of great people on the show. You can tune in 2 weeks. We will be having Eventual Infinity from Pacific Plaza and other notable vaporwave labels. Payton's going to be joining us in 2 weeks, so we're very excited. Same time, same place. That's Monday nights at 9 p.m. Every other Monday night, that is. And just one last thing. A special shout out to the donors tonight, Luxury Noise and Be Careful. God damn, you really outdid yourselves. We really appreciate it. We also just want to remind everybody, if you have a video teaser that you would like us to run before or after the show, send it to me. I'll run it. No big deal. We love to get back to the community. We are going to raid 3D Blast's stream.
Oh,
they have like 5 people watching them play some video game, so we're going to dump 20 people in 3D Blast's stream.
Some video game.
But thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight. We're going to run the ad, and then stick around if you want to listen to 3D Blast be surprised by a 20-viewer raid. We love you all, and especially Drink Your Tears. Have a
Yes.
wonderful night.
All right.
That's
Good night.
a hot take.
Swinging around American flag, because that's what America's supposed to be. It's supposed to look like permanently chill.
The insurance commercial has a fat ass, but like no personality.
Yeah, I feel like sitting here and listening to this.
No, god damn it. Isaac, New Noise is not the first fucking refused album.
Rip Isaac a new one today. Do you know what I mean? Like.
Don't touch my records.